Loneliness after divorce can feel like a heavy weight on your chest. The nights are quieter, the routines have changed, and a lot of things have shifted and are different in your life overall. And you're trying to figure out how to deal with being alone, how to deal with being in now your bedroom by yourself when you used to always have somebody there as, a companion that is, or another body in the space with you. Loneliness is a natural part of divorce, even if the relationship wasn't fulfilling, even if it was even abusive, because you are grieving right now, not just the person, but you're grieving the routines, you're grieving the dreams, you're grieving the companionship. And sometimes that can leave us lost. And so many times we lose ourselves a little bit in marriage because we're more focused on the things that we're going to do together to make the family better and to become, a better couple altogether. Sometimes we lose sight of some of those things that we enjoy. So, which means that when it breaks apart, it makes it a lot more difficult for you to find your way back to yourself. I just want to let you know that this is not the end of your story. It's just the beginning, but there's going to have to be some time and effort that you put into rediscovering yourself so that you can activate this new chapter in your life. Being alone doesn't mean that you have to be lonely. You can be alone, but because you shift your mindset and your perspective to be in a positive way, then you won't necessarily feel lonely. And yes, it's okay to, when you are in the grief, to feel some of the pain, some of the things that come with just a change overall in life. But if you shift your perspective to know that, okay, I may be alone right now, but I don't necessarily have to be lonely. So take inventory of your life right now. Who are the people that are still in your life? Some of you may have kids that are still in your life. Some of you may have family members that are close to you. Some of you may have friends that are close to you. Does that mean that just because you have lost your marriage that you need to be in that place where you lonely and that there's nothing that you can do? So one, you would have to shift your perspective a little bit to see the glimmers, to see the good, to see the wonderful things that can still happen in your life or that are still happening in your life. The laughter of your children, the times that you can still spend with your friends, the time that you spend with your loved ones, you can still count that as time in community and the organizations that you're a part of. You can reconnect with those, you can connect with those to make sure that if you need companionship, if you have somebody in your life, if you need somebody in your life to be there for you, that you have that. The second thing I would say is to build new routines. It's absolutely important that you begin to rediscover some of the things that you like to do. And you can't discover things that you like to do if you remain stuck inside. Maybe set aside a time that you have for yourself that you dedicate specifically for you to experience new things. Was there a restaurant that you wanted to try? Go by yourself or go have dinner with God. Do whatever it is that you have to do. Was there an activity that you always wanted to engage in that you never got a chance to do? Spend some time and go get that done and go engage in that. And that's how you're going to figure out, okay, I like this, I don't like this. And then you can plan your time around the things that you actually like to do. So schedule like something weekly for yourself. Either you do them by yourself or you invite somebody along with you. You can take walks by yourself. You can listen to podcasts as you walk, do different things. And it's not going to be, you're not going to discover what you need to do unless you begin to engage. The next thing is you have to strengthen your support system. So many couples, they find themselves in a relationship and they lose touch of their support system and they never take the time to rebuild it. Or most of the time, the people that you would have around you are not in the same phase in life as you. And therefore you decide, okay, we don't completely understand each other anymore. So we're not going to stay in touch, but we don't take the time to intentionally build community around us. And if that was the case for you, all you have to do now is try to connect with people that have been put in your life. If you open your eyes and you say, God, show me who it is that you have put in my atmosphere, in my environment that I can draw closer to right now. And not really to dump everything that you're going on them, but to enjoy things together. Maybe it can just be simply a person that enjoy a similar activity as you, that you can connect with and that you can just do fun things with. It doesn't have to be, okay, like we're going to be like the emotional support for one another. And it can come to that eventually, but you can simply connect with different groups, different people. There are support groups, there are running groups, there are therapy groups, there are online communities that you can engage with and do monthly activities with or weekly things with, that will give you that community so that you're not by yourself anymore. The fourth thing is to deepen your relationship with God. Usually during a time of pain, during a time of loss, God is the closest that he's going to be to us. God is right there with us. God is carrying and holding that pain with us. And it is a season of spiritual renewal. You have to understand, when you are in a time of transition, you become very vulnerable in the realm of the spirit. And we have to understand that when that happens, that we don't move away further from God. And when the pain comes and when the feelings come, we move closer and we hide ourselves in God so that we can be able to grow and thrive, but also to get directions for the next season that is coming. Because if you want to discover yourself, you will not be able to do that outside of your source. So discover in God who you are now, what God wants you to do next, what he wants for you next. And in order for you to do that, you have to spend time praying. You have to spend time just in community with other believers. And you can also journal and spend time with God, go on prayer walks with God. Just spend that time with him, because that's where the clarity about your purpose, about who you are, about the steps that you have to take, about your healing altogether, that's where that's going to come from. And God is able to satisfy you in your heart. Let me tell you this brief thing. One day, in the middle of my divorce, I was feeling like something was missing. I was feeling that no matter what I had in my life, that it just wasn't enough. And I was praying around that time and asking God. And one day I listened to a sermon by Lisa Harper, and she was pretty much talking about how God can satisfy every need and every desire. And I prayed this simple prayer. And I said, God, if you can do it for Lisa, you can do it for me too. And I feel like that there is something inside of me that is missing, that I cannot, that no matter what I do, it's not being filled. So I said, God, I need you to satisfy me so that I feel like that void inside is filled. And over time, I began to feel filled by God. Over time, I began to feel content. I began to feel satisfied with my life, and I began to build the life that I needed. I started my business. I did so many different things, and I gained confidence in myself because I was no longer striving for these things to fill me up, but I was striving for God. I was looking for him in every situation that I was dealing with, and I was going to him for answers about the things that I needed. So I want to invite you to ask God to satisfy you in this season, because this hole that has been created in your heart as a result of this divorce is not going to go away on its own, but you have to be intentional about your spiritual walk so that that can be filled. And the last thing is to invest in yourself. You have to grow mentally. You have to understand that when you've been hit, you have to slow down so that you can be able to heal. And if you're feeling lonely, what are the things that you need to pour into yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually? Are you going to engage in another relationship right away because of that loneliness? And that should never be our response, right? So we need to make sure that we're okay and comfortable with being uncomfortable for a moment, even though we feel lonely, so that we can grow at all levels. And then we can properly welcome a new relationship when there is time for that. Take a course, do different things that you have to do, invest in yourself, do things that you've always wanted to do, learn new skill, learn a new language, do things that you've always enjoyed in the past that you think you would enjoy today, because you can pretty much, you and God can be the answer to the loneliness that you feel. Your loneliness doesn't have to define you. You don't have to see yourself as this person that is now lonely, doesn't have a husband or a wife anymore, and you all alone. You were never alone in the first place. God has always been with you through all of it. So remember that. Remember, if one strand of the cord, the three-strand cord that formed your relationship is gone, there's still two strands left. So you and God is always enough, but eventually God introduces new people into your life. And you being in this new chapter can be the start of something beautiful, your healing, your growth, your rediscovery of who God actually created you to be. So your divorce may feel painful, it may feel difficult, it may feel hard, but just know that there is hope, that God can birth something wonderful, something great, something beautiful out of this very difficult situation that you find yourself in. So if this video resonated with you, I want you to comment below about what's one thing you're doing to navigate your loneliness. What's one new activity that you are engaging in? And if you need more encouragement, if you need more tips on how to survive your divorce and how to build healthy and lasting relationships, feel free to like this video and subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell to receive more videos just like this one that will give you proper tips on your healing process and how to become who it is that God has called you to be. So I will see you in the next video. It was so nice hanging out with you today. Bye.